Hi there, I'm Nancy Nash with Starfish Strength, and today I want to show you 3 ways you can use a peanut roller to relieve tight muscles in your upper body. So my recommended substitute, if you do not have a peanut roller, is to use 2 tennis-sized balls. So as you may already know, I am a huge fan of the Equanimous Cork Massage tools. If you are interested, I will leave a link below on where you can get your own. So the other thing you're going to want to have for this demonstration is a sturdy wall or door beside you. And I'm just going to need enough room for my entire torso. And then we are going to do a stretch forward and back. So I want to make sure that I've got enough room here as well. So the first area we're going to roll is the triceps. So the triceps run from the shoulder down to the elbow. It's a group of 3 muscles in the back of the arm, plus a couple helpers. And we're gonna take the peanut roller and put it right between those 2 joints. So I've got my arm right beside my body. Approximately make sure that the thumbs are pointing forward so that I'm in pretty good anatomical alignment. And then I'm gonna tip my body left to right. So I have slightly stepped my feet away from the wall just to give myself enough resistance to feel the stretch in these muscles. We're kind of stretching and massaging at the same time. If you don't find that this is that effective for you, you could reposition your roller, put it a little bit further behind the arm. Along with that, I'm gonna have to just slightly turn my body. I'm trying to over-exaggerate a little bit so you can tell what I mean. So I want my back a little bit closer, so I'm not really squared to the wall. More like at 120 degrees than 90 degrees. So I'm gonna give you one more option for rolling the triceps here. This time we're gonna reach forward and back. I'm gonna start with the roller in that same spot, about halfway between the elbow and the shoulder. And I'm gonna reach forward while I've got some tension. This is a little more complicated, leaning against the wall, and then pull back. So when I reach, you can tell my torso is not really moving. So I'm actually doing that reach from the shoulder. If I find a spot that's a little bit tight, I can just hold there, and then I can bend at the elbow. So now what we're doing is lengthening and shortening the muscles. So I'm really just giving myself a self-massage here. So once you've done that for 10 to 30 seconds on one side, we're gonna go ahead and switch sides. So I'm gonna take the roller and put it mid-tricep and rock side to side. And then again, remember that I can do that forward and back reach. So I'm gonna have you reach like you're trying to grab something in front of you, and then letting yourself pull that shoulder back and pull the arm back with it. And this might feel quite different on this side, and that is A-okay. We aren't perfectly symmetrical side to side, so just kind of leave room in your brain for that to be a little different side to side. Really, I would do this for 10 to 30 seconds. So give yourself an opportunity to move the roller around to a couple different points and try that out for yourself. So the second area I want to show you how to address is the serratus area. Now I say serratus area, the serratus anterior kind of looks like my hand if I placed it right underneath my armpit. So you can see it kind of hugs the rib cage here. And then I also have my lats, my really big back muscles that work hard when I lift things. Those actually also have a connection point in here. So I'm gonna take the roller and kind of put it so that it hugs my body. I'm gonna put that area against the wall. So to get this hand out of the way, not to be mean to it, but it's a little bit hard to rock side to side when you've got your shoulder in the way. So then I'm gonna do that. I'm a little teapot rock back and forth so that I can kind of feel the massage on those muscles. So sometimes this is gonna feel really smooth, but if you don't really feel like this is effective for you, you can do that more like 120 degree angle rather than like being exactly perpendicular to the wall. And I can bring this a little bit further towards my back. So I'm gonna do the same thing, kind of rocking side to side. It looks a little bit different here, but hopefully you can feel like this is a little more effective for you. So now we're gonna switch the other side. So I'm gonna put this right underneath the armpit. Again, take that hand and put it on the other shoulder and gently rock side to side. Doing that, I'm a little teapot. So for those of us, again, that lift and move things, this might feel kind of touchy and kind of sore. So you might want this motion to be very, very small. And once you've done that for about 10 to 30 seconds, we're gonna move on to our third area. So the last area we're gonna address today is the back. And that's probably what you thought we were gonna do with this peanut. It actually can be used for the lower body too, but that will be in another video. So I'm gonna take the roller, I'm gonna start at the base of the spine, and then we're gonna go all the way up. So what I would suggest is you think about rolling the spine in kind of like a 4-inch, maybe a little bit longer than that segment at a time. So I'm gonna come just above my waistline, rolling all the way up about 4 inches from where I started. So you're going back and forth here. When I position myself, I would just step the feet maybe a foot and a half away from the wall. This is gonna be somewhat dependent on how tight these muscles feel and how long your legs are. So for most of us, this is gonna be a little bit of a tight area. So you don't wanna put tons and tons of pressure on this initially. So as I'm doing this, I'm actually kind of pulling the belly button in and cat arching the lower back. And I'm gonna step away from the wall so you can see what that actually looks like. So I've got the roller back there, and as I bend my knees, I'm pulling my belly button in, so I'm lengthening those muscles in the back. So you can kind of see when these muscles get shorter in the abs, the lower back muscles get longer. So I'm gonna kind of tuck my butt under, and it might seem like that's really difficult, but trust me, the more often you do this, the more flexible this area will become. Also make sure you're pairing this with a good workout program that addresses your lower abs in good anatomical alignment, because if you do have pain in this area, that will help relieve it more than anything. So once you've done that for 10 to 30 seconds, I'm gonna have you move it up just a few inches. I'm maybe halfway up the spine at this point, and I'm gonna do the same thing. So I also wanna be cognizant that a lot of us in doing this are gonna wanna do this. And I used to do this as a back stretch too, but when you're trying to actually mobilize and stretch the back, you really wanna think about doing a cat arch. So I know it looks weird when I do it like that, but in real time, you can tell, that you can feel the vertebrae kind of moving apart just a little bit. You have a nice little line of muscles right along the spine called the erector spinae. We're gonna bring them a little bit of relief, especially if you have any area of your spine that you've been told is compressed. This will give it just a little bit of relief. If you have really severe scoliosis, you probably wanna check with your doctor or your chiropractor to make sure that you're not doing this in an area that has excessive curvature. I have found that clients with mild scoliosis can do this and that it really benefits them. If it feels a little weird for you to do that with this peanut roller, you could always use 2 separate balls, and then you're kind of allowing yourself to go around some of your curvature. So go ahead and move this up again for me, right at the base of the shoulders. And you're probably gonna wanna step the feet just a little further away from the wall. So I'm gonna bend the knees, pull the belly in, and hopefully at this point, it's a lot easier to do that cat arch with the back. And you can tell I'm almost doing like a little bit of a wall squat here. So this is a little bit more work. If it feels like a lot of work, you could bring a chair over here to hold on to, or you could use a foam roller. So with the foam roller, I'll just have a little bit of support here. I'll be able to keep my chest up, and I'll just be a little bit more aware of when I'm not doing that. All right, and then I'm gonna have you find a spot right between the shoulder blades that feels a little bit tight. And while we can continue, doing this rolling and it feels pretty good, I'm gonna have you pause there and do some forward and back reaches. So when I do that, I should feel a pretty good stretch between the shoulder blades. So it's like I'm trying to reach for something just a little beyond my fingertips and then pulling the elbows back. I don't need to pull them to the wall to make this effective. What I really want to do is make sure that the shoulders come down as I pull the elbows back. So this is a little closer to like what I would do with a row exercise on a machine, or a push-up, if you want to think about it that way. I might give yourself maybe like 10 of those, and then hopefully your shoulders are feeling pretty good and pretty warmed up. So we're gonna do one last area here. I'm gonna have you go just to the top of the shoulder blades. And then if you do find an area that feels pretty tight here, if it feels okay, rest the head against the wall, and then I'm gonna reach my hands up and then pull the arms down. So I've got the palms facing forward, so I should get a pretty good stretch across the chest. And then I should also feel a stretch in the upper traps. So I hope that was helpful and you learned something new today that you can bring into your recovery program so that you can feel great for your next workout. Please feel free to check out our other videos. Let me know what topics you'd like to see me cover next, and please share this with someone else that you think it would help. That means the most to me. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.